Om vi då tittar lite på agendan, hur vi har byggt upp det här seminariet, så kommer först då George som är projektledare. Och det är alltså Tyskland som är projektledare för EU-projektet med 7 medlemsstater. Där SKR är med som en av partnerna. Kommer berätta om Aim and Scope då. Och det kommer då ske på engelska. Det kommer ta det kommer finnas frågemoment inför varje. Så ungefär 45 minuter. Sen kommer jag berätta lite utifrån kommunernas arbete med omställning till cirkulär ekonomi och de projekt vi har jobbat med tillsammans med Resource bland andra. Och jag jobbar ju på SKR med hållbar upphandling. Så att mina nätverk består av inköpschefer och också miljöstrateger i den här frågan. Och då vill vi också belysa lite för vad som händer hos kommunerna utifrån digitaliseringsfrågan. Och då har jag bjudit in min kollega Hanna Lundborg som jobbar med de frågorna och träffar kommunerna i den här frågan. Och du träffar både ledning och mer digitaliseringsansvariga och berättar lite de utmaningar och vad kommunerna jobbar med just nu. Lite för att presentera hur de tänkta brukarna, var de befinner sig. Så kommer det finnas då question and answers och nästa steg, här kommer också George då prata på engelska. Och sen går vi över till företagspresentationer. Och då har, som vi säger, max 5 minuter och vi har 2 sådana anmälda. Ja, då ska jag säga så här att det finns en möjlighet i Teams om man skulle vilja använda översättningsfunktionen. Själva materialet går inte att översätta, men både textningen och det talade går att översätta. Det är inte helt perfekt, men om man känner kan det ändå vara till hjälp. Och då börjar man så att man går in under mera där, som ni ser de här 3 punkterna mer. Och så klickar man då på, om man vill ta på undertexterna då, textat, så tar man de här live captions och language and speech. Och där kan du välja då om du vill ta från svenska till engelska eller engelska till svenska. Och sen så confirm på språket. I will just say this in English. There is a possibility also if you would like to have help from the Teams function with translation. There is this possibility. You just see it under the more and you could choose your selection there. Vi som kommer prata idag, det är jag som heter Karin Pedy och jobbar som strategiker. Jag tänkte strategiskt, där fick jag strategiker, tack. Upphandlingsstrateg säger vi på svenska. Och i den rollen så har jag då kontakt med våra 290 kommuner och 21 regioner. Både i frågor om upphandling och nu också det vi jobbar med är mycket med kopplat också till försörjningsberedskapsfrågor. Och så har jag min kollega Hanna Lundborg som är vad är din roll? Du kan få... Vill du presentera själv?
Ja, men jag arbetar som motsvarande dig fast med digitaliseringsfrågor då, inte specifikt upphandlingsfrågor. Även om de ju gärna möts de 2 frågorna allt som oftast.
Ja, och vi också ser en poäng att faktiskt hitta synergier och att de hjälper varandra. George är alltså då huvudprojektledare för det här EU-projektet. Would you like to present yourself in some words?
Yeah, thank you, Karin. My name is Georg Vogt. I work for Empirica. We are the initiators of the project originally and are very happy to have found so many procurers, in particular the Swedish Association of Authorities and Regions, since obviously Sweden is leading or very far ahead in circular economy and principle. And yeah, you give us the full spectrum. We have cities which are not so advanced, and we have now cities which are advanced. And I will present the technical challenge a bit later.
Thank you, George. And then I will talk. Sen ska jag prata om lite praktiska frågor. Under det här mötet så är det som kommer vi spela in hela det här så att det kommer gå att se i efterhand. Och vi har nu gjort så inledningsvis att vi har stängt av micken och videorna, men vi kommer sätta på dem när det blir dags för frågor och svar. Och då är det ju trevligt att videon är på så att vi ser varann. Som sagt innan så kommer det göra stopp då man tar upp frågor. Under tiden så kan ni gärna ställa frågor i chatten också. Där. Och är det några frågor som har en viktig klargörande innebörd även för våra övriga medlemsländer så kommer vi också publicera dem på hemsidan. Som sagt, efter mötet så kommer vi dela båda de här bildpresentationerna som vi har haft idag på den här webbsidan CircularPSP.eu och även videon. Och för att få fortsatt information så om man är leverantör så kan man gå in och anmäla sig på en matchmaking sida. För vi tror ju att de som kommer vilja vara intresserade att lägga anbud kommer hitta flera partners för att det är så många olika kompetenser man behöver för att kunna få till ett anbud och kunna utveckla det vi tror att våra kommuner behöver för den cirkulära omställningen. Man kan också bli en preferred partner som man är upphandlande myndighet. Kan man gå in också och registrera sig där. För det gör att man visar att man är intresserad och visar också för leverantörerna att det finns många som är intresserade av det som kommer utvecklas och tas fram. Man kan också anmäla sig om man vill ha uppdateringar och nyhetsbrev. Ja. That was the starting point. So here I will invite George to take over.
Thank you very much. Okay, oops, I clicked, let's start with what the meeting is about. So we want you to understand the project, obviously, what we are aiming for, what we are planning, what you would be contributing. So that's the main goal today. This also includes how the instrument works, because, I mean, you know PCPs, you're from Sweden, but the EU version might be slightly different. We want to hear from you what you think or what questions you have about the solutions we envisage, and maybe we already helping a little bit in you finding the consortia you need to bid. Definitely, we will provide you with the information on how to find other partners who might be interested in bidding to this in this tender. So a very brief introduction. I mean, I will briefly the project, the consortium, and then briefly circular economy. I guess I can keep this very sharp here because we are in Sweden. So first of all, the consortium, it is a joint procurement. So this means there are 7 procurers directly buying, but London will also be included. For Brexit reasons, they can't be directly included in the buyers consortium. That's a technicality, doesn't mean much. We have already attracted also follower cities who are interested in what we are doing, including Amsterdam, Bonn, and various governments in Ireland and Finland, for instance. And we will keep pushing that. Yeah. So we have already gained some traction. Once the tender is released, it will obviously be easier because we then exactly can say what it is about. And what we're aiming for is basically the acceleration of the transition towards circular economy. The cities, the cities are representing in their countries already the leaders of circular economy, but all of them are struggling to push further, to push quicker, to push wider. Wider means that they reach more departments or that they reach more cities and regions in their respective country. And to overcome that, these cities are willing to invest money, their time in this project. The money comes from the EU, but still they commit time to develop it, the challenge, and considerable resources to ultimately evaluate the bids and test the solutions, etc. Now, our understanding of the challenge, very quickly, the challenges we need to achieve sustainability, there are multiple of them, and some are more complex, some involve more people. Electricity involves very few people, and it's not that complex outside of the grid. Putting up a PV is not very tricky, so we are there. It's an upgrade. Mobility, we finally get there once the car suppliers are switching their production. It's a substitution of an old against a new one, plus a little bit in supply chains, but ultimately it is doable, just people need to want it. Then heat is obviously a very, very complicated question because of the many buildings and the differences in the buildings. The technology in principle is there, but nevertheless, to roll it out, to get everybody on board, to make individual people invest, and not only large companies or the government, is obviously a challenge. But the ultimate challenge is circular economy. We are across these 3 or 4 challenges. This is the least advanced, and we are at, I don't know, 8% across Europe, and it basically needs almost everyone. People who have been doing a job for 20 years will be asked to change it. In a car, they will be still driving a car, only that it sounds a little bit different. In a circular economy, they will need to change the way they're thinking. So it is a big challenge, and we are approaching it. And with your solution, you would make a big part on it, which will become more clearer when I explain our quite horizontal approach to it. Now, what is circular economy? I guess it is basically not only use and throw away and maybe recycle. The best thing we can achieve today, that we a little bit recycling and we think that's it. No, we want to maybe avoid using stuff and or reusing it or repairing it and so on. All of these individual strategies, as we call them, can be hard, easy, or impossible depending on where I am, depending on my circumstances and my knowledge. A person in Porto and a person in Stockholm, same background, but different circumstances in the city, different suppliers in their location. It might be easy or hard for them. This needs to be taken into account. It needs to be considered, and therefore these people need help. It cannot be one guidance across Europe and people just do. It needs to be more personalized and taking into consideration what there is. As to what the people need to do, well, as I already said, they need to change the way they think. First of all, maybe buying less stuff, and secondly, considering products more like a service, which is happening in society, but would also have to enter into the public procurement domain. Now, what are the cities? What are the problems for cities and regions? I always use the mental shortcut and only say cities, even if we are talking about, we are represented by an organization which represents regions, but ultimately, good part will happen in cities because they are the administrative part most relevant for what we are aiming for. So, what are the issues for any organization? First of all, it's a capacity issue. I already mentioned it. There are maybe specialized departments, good people who know about circularity. They talk to some people and get them further, but it will take too long. These few people cannot train all the entire city department of whichever city. Some have 10,000 employees. It needs to be quicker. And even if these leading lighthouse places have accomplished it, well, there are thousands of other cities across Europe which also need to transition. How do we get there? The city of Berlin will not invest to go to some city of Leipzig, let's say. This will not happen. So we need to kind of be able to transfer this knowledge, this ability further out. So it's an organizational problem. How do I set it up so that many people can be reached? Then it's an access to information problem. More and more circular economy solutions come up, and it gets more and more complicated understanding what's the best option for me. Yeah, we already know this from the energy domain. Yeah, if a city department is tasked with renovating something, then they have a choice of 400 batteries, which is the best for me. The same problem is coming for the circular economy and will increase. Yeah, with more suppliers, it will just become more complicated. So, and yeah, this is one thing. And the second thing is that many circular solutions are sort of local. Yeah, because they're grown in this local circumstance, and not necessarily immediately scalable or transferable. Sometimes they need adaptation, and then you have barriers like location and language, which need to be overcome so that something from Porto can go to Stockholm and vice versa. And then there's the operational problem that even if I know about things, I know, I am aware there is a solution for, let's say, food waste. How do I put it into a place? How do I put it into action? And this means that the city staff, the regular city staff, which first has to learn, become aware, then has to learn, also needs some kind of guidance on how to go through these steps, through these motions. Because I, as a municipal staff, if I don't feel confident about what I'm supposed to do, I will stay with what I know. And this is the linear model. So our thinking and our approach to it, the basic approach, the fundamental approach is we want a platform which is underpinned by AI, which uses taxonomies and natural language processing to support cities, the civil servants in the cities, and the local businesses to ultimately also supply. I get into this more detail later on when I present our common challenge. Now, okay, this slide is slightly, in your context, in the context of Sweden, a little bit ridiculous, because obviously your procurement is very advanced in comparison to other regions in Europe. But and you know PCPs as an instrument, but you know it is about R&D. Yeah, that's not the point. You know, I can reassure you that this market we are here challenging is entirely new. We've done extensive research to win the project with the European Commission. And we have done since extensive research to kind of shape the challenge. We're not completed, but we are working on it. And what we will be aiming for is definitely something which doesn't exist, and is something for which there's a lot of demand, represented by the cities participating in the project, obviously, which is the second point. It's a joint procurement. And we have followers and preferred partners who want basically what we are seeking. We want to innovate, and we will test it in real world conditions. So this means that you will not be stuck in your lab and then at the end you deliver, but you will have opportunity to basically say, here's a prototype. Let some people please have a look at it and tell us what you think. This is strictly part of the project and will be organized, and ultimately we will run it in the phase 3 in the sites, and you will have live interaction on your platform to basically know and tweak it to make it scalable, etc. Yeah, the IPR ownership is, don't know whether it's different in Sweden. You can keep the IPR, you're generating new IP and you keep it, provided you act on it. Basically the deal, it's one of, PCP is one of the few instruments where public institutions can basically fund something without owning it all right out. If we do a study for the Commission, for instance, we give everything up. Yeah, in this case, it's not so. You keep the IP, and we want you to be commercial in this, in pushing this project afterwards. And we give you visibility on EU level, because this is a horizontal problem. Every city across Europe is facing it, and we will do a lot of communication about it. What I learned, one thing is I mention it now before I forget it, even though it maybe fits somewhere else as well. This is a PCP, and one thing which is different to the national procurement I learned is that the tender will not be, your tender offers will not be published. Yeah, because I don't understand the reasoning in Sweden, but for this one, it is not required, A, by the EU directive underpinning this tender, and B, it would be counterproductive for us because we are seeking new R&D. We are encouraging our bidders to basically disclose something they may be already working on and which is not yet market ready. So it is good for us if the offers afterwards are not published, and they will not be published. Yeah, the only one who will have access to the offers will be the consortium and maybe 2 or 3 people which are invited to kind of help us in assessing the offers, and that's it. As to the aim, what are we aiming for? So sometimes it helps to focus the mind by first of all excluding things. I say this so that if you have biases towards what you expect, just to make a check against it. Yeah. And everybody has a bias. It's standard. I've done behavioral economics. It's just my philosophy. Yeah. So we want something which is able to, is a horizontal solution, and by default, hence, it wants to cover all department sectors, value chains. Yeah, we do not want a specific solution. The example I've given was food waste. You might have an amazing food waste solution. It is great, but our project will not be the place to get more funding to push this further. Yeah, there are other programs for that, not our project. If you're running some sort of platform, circular economy platform, then it might be specialized, but what you have underneath it might still be transferable to what we want. Yeah, so you might not get funding immediately to what you do, yeah, your specialization, but you might be able to diversify your portfolio by also approaching us. We want significant impact, yeah, and this means in the economist logic, 80-20 rule. We first want the 80%. Yeah, we are going to municipal staff which hasn't done anything yet, and we want to get the 80% out of them first. We do not want to optimize something which someone is good at already to squeeze the last bit of it out first. Obviously, we want to advance everyone and widen everyone's minds, but first of all, we want to go everywhere. Yeah. So impact of our strategies needs to be thought in the principle of what comes first and not what comes at some point in the future. This is basically repeating the point in that you need to consider people who don't know anything. Yeah, not only specialists, and for them who are able to kind of think about what's at the edge of technology, but also about the basics. We expect circular economy expertise to be present in the consortium. Yeah, and with this, Sweden being highly advanced in circular economy, it obviously gives you an edge in being a partner for any consortium, wherever it might come from. Yeah. This is important because, especially since ChatGPT has been released, yeah, some people think they can do anything with it, and it's not true. Yeah, it's not. It's generative AI. It's good for certain things, but it doesn't know what's good and what's wrong. Only people know, and therefore we need people who are able to kind of tweak a model and make an AI smarter. And it must be scalable. You don't only want the 8 cities, ultimately we want hundreds of cities to be present on your platform. And hence, you should have a long-term vision and not only check whether some technology of you works. We will find out. I mean, if not in the initial offer, we will find out in the first phase. And this would mean that you can't proceed because your solution will not appear viable. So if you have a vision, positively phrased, if you have a vision, you want to make great impact, if you want to change basically how cities operate, you're the right place. We are happy to give you our time and resources. Who are the users? Yeah, who are the users we are thinking about? There are basically three. One are definitely experts, and the two are others have some sort of expertise, maybe nothing. Yeah. The first ones are so-called intermediaries, which are basically the people running the show here in this project, like Karin and so on, who know about circular economy. They can talk to someone else about circular economy. They can transfer knowledge from one department to the other. They maybe train, whatever. Yeah, they are kind of able to jump from one field to the others. They are able to see circular economy on a strategic level. They are critical because only those are able to plan on city level. Yeah? But then there are obviously all those people who actually run the city. They are regular municipal staff. They are within silos in a department, let's say, and they need to do their things they are tasked with. And sometimes they have some expertise, some not. And the mirror of this is that even if we have a fantastic department, super circular, and in every respect, if they don't have the local economy ready to basically supply what they ask for, because then nothing will happen. Yeah? So the local businesses need to follow, need also to have this ability. The focus of this project is in principle the municipality, with the view, with our view that once you've done it for the municipality, the majority of the stuff you need is already finalized for the local businesses. Yeah, you basically in a tweaked version, you will have it then. That's our thinking. Now, what services will you provide? What your platform, your solution provide over time? Yeah. The first thing is you have your product, your service. You come to us. I'm a city. I'm a representative of a city, and the first step is that we are basically setting up an instance for my city on your solution, and this is creating the circular mission. Circular mission, in our understanding, is some sort of midterm plan for the city of several years, which kind of says, in your policy documents, you've already stated this and this and that. And learning from other cities, we think then this and this and that is a good way forward to make it actionable. So often strategy plans, EU policies have just state some target, but don't actually say how you get there. So the circular mission would be both, yeah, the target and stating the key milestones on how to get there. This obviously is supported by the machine, by the AI, but it needs expertise. Yeah? There must be some person who is able to talk to the intermediaries in the city and kind of come up with a way to phrase it for the city, so it's also understood in local circumstances. Yeah, that that this is something I can communicate to my municipal staff. Then comes the daily work. Yeah, the service is running, and the people in the city are using the service. They're going on this service and they are searching for solutions and following on the steps your platform suggests to accomplish a certain R strategy. What we do not want, and I must emphasize that, is a procurement platform as such. Obviously, circularity is linked to procurement. Yeah? If I need to buy something, if I cannot avoid it through rethink, reduce, and so on, then I will have to buy something. But procurement is, in national context, super specialized, and the platforms for it are also super specialized. So for us, there's no point in replicating this. There is a point in connecting the two things, that you provide APIs or whatever, which are able to communicate, or you have implemented APIs provided by the procurement solutions to kind of transfer some data. Yeah, let's say I, in the municipal staff department, have prepared a measure. I have avoided buying 50% of the stuff through our strategies, but 50% need to be bought. It cannot be avoided. Then I pass on information to the procurement people, and they do their magic. And obviously, throughout, it's also daily work, but we keep track on what we have. This is actually a key trove of savings. Yeah, we are not good in keeping track what we own. Just look into your shelves at home. You don't know what you have if you only when you search. And the same applies to cities. And if we were better at that, then we would maybe buy less. Secondly, it is obviously needed to keep track of success. Only with that, there will be a positive feedback loop of saying, yes, you saved CO2, keep on going. Yeah. Yes, you saved CO2, good job, employee. Do this again. It was hard for you to get there, but do it again. It's worthwhile. Now, the desired solutions. You recognize that the desired solutions we have are mapped with the problems we have. Yeah. We try to, in all respects, we try to make it as simple as we can to bid for this tender. So the easiest one is first the AI, yeah, for the information. It will use taxonomies. Taxonomies means anything which is already standardized in European language should be utilized. Not everything, but what is useful should be utilized to make sense across borders. The most obvious example is CPV codes, yeah, public procurement codes, which are common across Europe, to, let's say, find a case study in a certain specific field. Yeah, so that that your engine, your AI machine is able to tap into the public procurement platforms to search for certain procurements and identify them as being circular and feed them back to the user and say, such circular procurements have been used. Now, this also applies to any kind of finding, let's say, case studies for reuse, repair, and so on. These clearly have not been, there is no real taxonomy for this yet. We will be working on this in the project. Yeah? We will do a very rough version in the challenge brief, but there will be then a collaborative work on it in the project across the suppliers to kind of agree on to advance the taxonomy for defining repair, let's say. And the same applies to data standards and so on, which we will take as granted. We will not develop them. And the AI is clearly able of A, reading text, and B, translating text. Yeah, so natural language processing. We believe this is no longer a technical challenge. There's ChatGPT, there's DeepL, there's a lot. Now, this is the back end. Yeah, the back end of being able to thread through data to find circularity, and then B, suggesting it on a more personal level to their staff. And this is accessed through the public service platform. Basically a website on which you provide your services and I can log into and keep track of what I've searched and initiate new searches and my workflows. My workflows is the third part, is the operation. Explain on a slide, it's hard to do it abstract. Obviously, sort of externalized. It's a new solution, so you need to train people being able to train and to use your platform. Yeah, that's quite easy, quite straightforward. Then needs to be some tool tips and small videos or whatever to teach people how to use your platform. And then obviously they also need to learn about circularity. We believe most of the content is already there. Yeah, so you just need to assemble it in the right way and in a personalized way so that it matters for the person. This would mean, for instance, someone for the first time, the platform obviously it's pretty smart, so it will notice that for the first time a person approaches a refabricate case study. Yeah, then the platform would suggest maybe you want to watch or read this article about refabrication so that you're prepared for anything which might come. Into more detail, at this current version. Yeah, all of this is intermediate work. We will write a challenge brief. It will be a self-standing document. I maybe should show it on this slide. It applies to everything. Self-standing document of 20, maybe 30 pages most, which will basically explain our challenge. It will provide a rationale. It will explain what we expect from you. And if there are hard requirements, it will list them. Yeah? So it will be very transparent for you what we expect. What I'm presenting now is basically some intermediate stage of our thinking. We are not yet at the end of it. Specifically, detail is lacking, let's admit it. So your AI, yeah, your data analytics solution will obviously search the web for case studies. There are many websites in various languages on case studies for circularity. Complete chaos. Yeah, even for someone who knows stuff, it takes an hour to find them all, and then it takes more time to kind of sort this out. A machine is much quicker in that. It will also use open data, yeah, to kind of make sense of stuff, to give it context, to give it size. And then there's obviously city data, which city data exactly you are allowed to access will depend on the city, but your solution should be in principle able to tap into, let's say, BI platforms to kind of pull something out, which is make it available to you. And sometimes there are local databases which just exist, yeah. And if they are useful, you would be expected to make use of it. And most definitely, there are policy papers, whatever you want to call them, on local level, which set the framework, the barriers for a city on which it wants to proceed. Yeah. So this needs to be imported for the a priori step I explained before. And this will flow into your AI. It will make sense of the data, of the messy data through taxonomies. It will apply the natural language process engine to ultimately provide the user with circular intelligence. This output, the most obvious output is case summaries. Yeah? I search for something, and then the AI reads, finds, identifies the most suitable ones, gives me a summary, a wrap up. Maybe we will define, or you define a standard format, so it always looks the same. Maybe 200 words, maybe 300 words, maybe some more additional data fields, maybe some classification. This is an R strategy reuse, and it will be able to translate it into the local language because we are talking about regular municipal staff, and it might not speak English or Swedish. And yeah, some indicators, very fundamental, very easy indicators because measuring circularity is extremely complex, but some very fundamental indicators on basically tracking or suggesting you would save so much, or you would increase the lifetime of stuff by so many years if you choose solution A or solution B, simply to give make people able to weigh what they should do. Yeah, if B is maybe a little bit better in circularity terms but costs 4 times as much, they might still choose A. Yeah, simply decision making support. And this is clearly linked to the workflows, coming to in a second. Then there's the platform. As I said, it's basically some sort of web-enabled service website, which has 2 tiers. One is for city, one is for business. And the layers in it are kind of the same. First of all, it would give access, or at least a background. It doesn't matter on the day-to-day basis. The CE mission, it's reflected there. Then maybe on department level, depending on the size of the city, it kind of breaks down the city mission into milestones, and I can go through it and see what kind of focus I should have. Yeah, it's basically a strong signal to me as a municipal staff. In the coming year, I'm expected to think in particular about this kind of CE approach because we want to achieve something there. We have a target. And then on staff level, I'm obviously doing my daily work. Yeah, and I will be helped by the platform to gain skills. For businesses, as a local economy, I obviously don't necessarily need access to the city mission. Maybe I would set myself some target, and then again, the boss of a company can say, let's reduce waste by 20% and so on. And the staff would know, okay, I need to search for solutions on how to reduce waste. And then overreaching between both is the element of networking. First of all, within the city, across cities, that if a case study was identified somewhere else and someone has done something, and via the platform already NLP enabled, it would be easy to ask a question. And but also networking in the sense of co-creation between business and city, because yeah, I mean, the city will always be a step ahead. They will know the next 2 years we want to achieve such and such circularity change, and they need the business to follow. And obviously, they don't want them to start following once, let's say, a tender is out, because it's only doable via a tender, but earlier. Yeah, they want to adapt. So you need to be able to inform them and maybe also become realistic and not find out after you've tendered for 6 months that businesses are not actually able to respond to your tender because it has a silly criterion in it. It takes too much time. We don't have the time. 2050 is coming. We need to become quicker, and this means we need to talk to people. As I said before, city is the focus. And will be significantly more advanced in the business part. The business part is quite simplistic. It simply should help cities, businesses to make the first steps. Yeah. And as I say, a lot of it would follow from the city anyway. As to the technical requirements, it must be scalable. Clearly, you can create one instance for the city, then creating the next instance. Technically, the technical part should be minimal effort. Creating the CE mission obviously is always effort, and in the future operation, the cities would pay for it. Yeah, there would be a new subscriber to your service. There would be an initial fee, whatever, and your expertise would be obviously paid. Whether it runs in the cloud or in the server, it depends. We don't know yet whether we will require city servers at all. It's obviously a testy area, but modern protocols don't care. Yeah, I would say with a good IT platform, it shouldn't matter too much. It is modular by design. It's important for us because there might be that, I mean, we do the basic stuff now, but cities might come up, or you might come up with modules which are interesting for others. And then maybe some other cities come together and say, we want such a module being developed. And then you could respond, or some external party could respond to develop it on top of your platform. And this would be then payable. Yeah, it's not a flatline, not the baseline service. It is something to be bought in on top. This is good for everybody. I think these kind of platform concepts have established themselves. They make sense. It must be highly interoperable, by design. By design, it should think about how stuff can be integrated, and it not only meets incoming data, but also outgoing data. That your platform is able to, for instance, export data to the BI systems of the cities. Here, an important remark. Our platform our solution is not expected to replace existing BI solutions of cities. This would be outrageous. Yeah. For a time being, the BI solutions are there to stay, to remain. Yeah? They have legacy and whatever. What our service is, what our solution is a service on top, which the BI system is not offering. Yeah, it is not able to offer anytime soon circular economy knowledge and whatever. It will not happen. I strictly doubt it. Even integrating AI into these systems, I don't believe is easy because it's too dynamic. Yeah, so it is something outside for a specific purpose, and actual work happens in it. If you have two screens, then you can have it on one screen and the other, and it's no problem. For BI companies here, don't be discouraged. See it as an opportunity to maybe build on something for the next generation. Yeah, or in whichever form you integrate it, whether you stick with your old model and you integrate it in it, or vice versa, consider it something as a development of the next version to skip over at some later point in time. The strategies can be multifold. I'm just trying to state the fact, and I learned this from Hannah, that we are not, we don't want to conquer the world. Yeah, we want to make circular economy better. Multi-language support is self-explaining. Now, what are we considering workflows? It's basically a process, if you want. Yeah, I am a municipal staff worker. I have to do something in my daily business. Let's say I have to take care of 100 park benches in my city. So in the past, I would have said, procurement department, buy me 100. So now I maybe think, what could I do? Yeah. So I search for use cases. What has been done in Europe? And the system feeds me back with some case studies. It should mean case studies here, not use cases. Some case studies on what has been happened in other cities, and I can understand and pick the best one suited for me. And then the system will generate my workflow. Yeah, it will generate because what I need to do might depend on my expertise and the local circumstances. Yeah, it might be that there is already a supplier for, let's say, repairing park benches in my city or not. If not, then there would be a step necessary to kind of call suitable companies and ask whether they would be willing to do such thing, for instance. In any case, after I've picked my strategy, there are a few steps to take. This could be templates, this could be actions. This could also include training I need, yeah, that I click on it and that I learn it. And ultimately, at the end of it, I kind of record my success, maybe record some feedback on the workflow generated so that the AI the system is then able to learn from it and improve with the next iteration. What is obviously very relevant is if people drop out. People don't finish the process. Then someone, if this happens systematically, then something is not fundamentally, something is wrong. Yeah, something needs to be fixed. There's a weakness. Maybe something wasn't considered. It needs to be improved. Since we hope that there will be many users on this platform across many places, such learnings, we believe, can happen quite quickly. How many workflows you can deploy will obviously depend on your approach. We will be realistic and not expect you to generate something amazing in every circumstance, in every value chain. There will be, there will be a focus. Yeah, there will be some limit as to what will be expected. But we first of all want to see how you would approach this and how you would make it happen to build on it from there. The requirements for the workflows will be that they're clearly structured, that not only the information is clear, but also my status in the workflow is clear. This is often ignored. And it should be one of the key results would be that it solves up barriers, yeah? That it does not leave me stranded at a certain point, but that it considers what does this person need to get further. How you solve it is entirely up to you. Yeah, whether you use flows, kind of like pages following like a ticket booking, whether you use chat, trendy right now, some sort of lists, we don't mind. You convince us basically that it works. And bear in mind, the users are regular city staff. We have conducted focus groups and we will share the results on it. But if you have expertise working with municipalities, then you are a good partner, yeah, because you say they think like that. Then you don't design something for IT geeks, but something for municipal staff. This is the target user group, so it should work for them. A very important slide, even if it has very little content, is to understand that we define the problem pretty complex, and we will define the what criteria, but we will stay out to the maximum degree of how solving it. Yeah, we will give the framework of what we want, but we're not saying this is how we want it. So the tender specs you will read will not be a bunch of hundreds of requirements. We want a blue button. The button is 2 centimeters wide and so on. But it will kind of give you the framework, the playing field on which you can go nuts and provide us with the best way forward to do it. Yeah, we are looking forward to this creativity. As to the tender process, the instrument, again, PCPs are known in Sweden, so maybe just pay attention to the differences I might be mentioning, and you might have then clarifying questions because of that. So again, the traditional procurement obviously it's not so relevant for you. We are talking with Zala is hosting the event. They are joint procurers by definition, so they do nothing but that. This, I don't know. I can't say little about the slide here. Maybe highlight the special legal framework coming from Horizon and WTO. Such a project with IPR sharing is normally not possible. Yeah, this project, this instrument has an exception. It is not state aid. That's the point. Yeah, basically, it avoids being state aid, and this is only possible through a requirement. I skip through it and come back to it. It is only possible through this requirement that 50% of the cost must be for staff, and 50% of the cost must be R&D activities, and 50% of the cost must be within the EU or associated countries. There's a long list of associated countries. It's linked in our FAQ. Through that, it is in state aid, and through that, we can do such a procurement. Now, how is our PCP structured? It has this preparatory phase we are in right now. We are preparing our challenge brief, our tender, which will be published eventually. And then we have a phase 1, and we are considering 6 suppliers. It will not be more, maybe less, with roughly 144,000 per supplier received to expand on their proposal, to kind of add to what's been missing in the solution design and maybe conceptualize, like, let's say, the AI engine. We haven't decided yet. We are working on it. And then comes the prototype development in 2 stages. First, mock-up, and then live, something which works. We will basically demonstrate to us the platform, the AI, the workflow generation, and test it through the cities. And here we will have 4 suppliers with over 500,000 for this phase. You see that the phases also extend in duration. And then we have phase 3, where the systems go live and they are used by regular municipal staff in the cities. Now, there is a chance, this is outside of scope of this project, that, let's say, your solution works. It's great, it's doing its business, but it is yet too expensive to run it. And there is a chance, and we will then push for it as coordinators to get a so-called PPI to kind of bridge this time to get more funding and be able to close the funding gap to then after the end of it basically have a commercial product which is can run on acceptable fees or whatever your financing model will be. Yeah, I don't know. But as I said, at the end of it should stand a commercial product. The procurers in this project will have some beneficial access But for everybody else, yes, you should be making money from it, and only through that will the service maintain. We are realistic on that. As to the tendering procedure, first of all, eligibility. There is no limitation on who the operators can be. Yeah, doesn't matter. You can have a single entity or joint procurements or subcontractors. All is fine. You just need to fill the necessary forms. I already stated that. It matters because from the UK there might be bids. You can partner up with companies from the UK. Just pay attention that you stay below 50% for their share of your financial offer. And whether you watched this video, participated, or didn't watch it at all, it doesn't matter. It's not a requirement to participate in the bid. Now, the submission will be via email. So basically a stack of documents submitted. We aim for 3 months of submitting as tendering period starting in November. Whether this works out is not only dependent on us, but also on the Commission accepting our challenge brief and doing it in time, etc., etc. Everything will be in English. And the IPR sharing I already stated. Okay. Yeah, I say it in the timeline. 1 second. Now you've won the project. The proposal was successful on your part. You are a project now. Yeah, you're no longer in the proposal. You are the project. There will be one lead procurer. It is a joint procurement, but it has one lead procurer. This lead procurer will sign all contracts, will accept your invoices, and pay you. The lead procurer is IMM in Turkey, Istanbul municipality, for one reason. Because they get a VAT exemption on R&D services. Yeah, so the 5.64 million are exactly what you can get. Other than that, there's no difference. Yeah, because everything is run based on EU rules. The standard framework agreement you will get is the same as it was in the other PCPs, at least those we ran, and so it goes. It is an EU procurement. Contracting, yeah, it's a framework agreement. You sign one framework agreement for all 3 phases, and then you get a specific agreement which is super slim, basically stating the deliverables and the amount from your financial offer, and that's it. For each phase you participated. There will be monitoring, it will be calls, periodic meetings as an opportunity for you to ask us questions and obviously for us to give you feedback. And then at the end of a phase, there is a completion criteria. There are basically 2. One is your work was good enough to be paid. Okay. But you want to achieve to be successful. So basically you've progressed, you kind of generated IP, insight and so on to be able to be eligible for the next phase. Yeah, so that your offer will be read for the next phase. If you just do a good enough job and not much, then you're kind of signaling to us, okay, they will not invest more, they will not, I don't know, or they only do as much as necessary. Hence, they might not be the best choice for the next phase. You must be successful to get forward. From experience, yeah, on PCPs, and we have done a few in European PCPs. It's important. Pretty much everybody is successful. Yeah, the differentiation then happens through the bid, through the offer, through quality or price. The IP, you own your IP, you only need to act on it. Yeah, if you after 4 years have not acted on your IP, that you haven't provided a product, and the procurers are faced with a thing that they've invested millions in time, and nothing comes from it, then the IP falls to them. Again, this is part of the state aid thing. Otherwise, it would be state aid. If I just give you money to spend money, state aid. If I give you money in expectation of something to come afterwards, not state aid. That's why we are allowed to do that. So it was in English. I speak quite quickly. I admit that. Yeah, if you have any questions, please in chat or just your micros will be opened in a sec. And you can speak up and ask your question. What follows after, just to say, what follows after the questions is a brief next steps section where I will explain what will be the next steps for us and for you as a potential bidder in the project. So the microphones are open. Karin is also here to translate if you want to ask in Swedish. Please. Okay, then I would proceed, Karin. Okay.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, so as to the next steps. So clearly we are in research in OMC, we are writing our challenge brief. We have done, this is the last OMC event, in fact. The matchmaking platform is online. There comes a slide in a second. We will follow up with some networking activities in September and October to help you maybe gain partners for those who are not used to making to building consortia. Yeah, some of you might be specialized companies who've never tendered in a joint consortium. I would always encourage you to then participate to see and not do anything because you don't know how to do it. We will help you to the degree we can. We have a procurer survey running where we ask kind of try to underpin is our focus right? Yeah, we might be that the focus I've presented now is not entirely correct. So far it has been supported, but it might be that if, I don't know, 20 more cities come, it might change. For the cities, if you are a city or some organization which is basically representing the demand side, we will have a preferred partner or follower network interaction. It's both. Partner is a weird term from the EU. With ICLAI together in September. Yeah, it will be then basically only for the demand side. We will share more about the project, and ultimately the tender will open in November if everything goes to plan, and we will have a tender launch event, and we will explain this is the tender. Kind of repeat a little bit of what we said here, but then also roughly introduce the documents. And then we will have explicit training events, one for admin, and one for admin and financial, and one for technical offer. Admin and financial, basically saying what do you need to do to make your offer sound. The forms you have to fill might differ to the forms you're used in Sweden, but I doubt it. And secondly, obviously, the technical offer. Be assured that our technical offer is very well prepared. Yeah, so you will have the challenge brief and you will have a technical offer template, which are very matched, and you will exactly know where to put your content. Yeah? But still, we will go through it and then maybe go through the challenge brief as well, and you will have opportunity to ask questions, which you can ask at any time. We have an FAQ online for the basic questions. We will, once we've completed this OMC, go through all of them and check whether any questions hadn't yet been covered and add them. And if you ask anything at any point, which is new, we will respond to you and then also put it on the FAQ for everybody to see, because clearly this is a public tender and we are doing that as it is supposed to be. Once we received your offers, we have a tender evaluation and contractual preparations. And then in April next year, so quite some time away, the pipeline is, well, is long away. That's always sad, but at the same time, we know how often it is that the tender comes out and then you have to respond in 6 weeks. We are at least saving you that. Yeah, you know already November is a few months from now, and then you will have 3 months and not only 2 weeks, 4 weeks to respond. Longer durations have their downsides, but definitely you can prepare better. Yeah, and the next phases follow, obviously. Okay, maybe one clarification. At the end, the last months of each 1 month, Towards the end of each phase, let's phrase it like that, you will hand in your call off, which is basically a revision of your initial offer. You will not make hard requirements. It will be easy to bid again. Yeah. Either you will basically be able to use a good portion of the work you have done during the phase to put into the offer, and the deliverable of the phase and the content of the offer are aligned. Let's put it this way. They're not the same, but they are aligned. So doing bids for the call out during the call offs is easy. Matchmaking. I encourage you very highly to invest during this meeting now or afterwards 5 minutes or 2 minutes, I believe is possible, to go to this link and register yourself. It might be that you want to lead and you can't be asked right now to find partners, and you want to wait for them to approach you. It might be that you just want to be a partner, not a lead, and then obviously you need to make yourself visible to others that you are interested in it. Yeah? Through being present, you already know what it is. As soon as you talk to each other, you will have saved a lot of time normally necessary to explain to each other what it is about. As I said before, we will do some sort of matchmaking event in the early autumn, late summer. If you are the preferred, if you are a city or region, you can fill in our form. It's welcome. And definitely you can become a preferred partner or follower. This is missing here in the text. You can also become a follower. Just basically, I'm interested in the project. We will treat both the same. And invite you to an event. What we aim to do, but it also depends on the suppliers, is that in phase 3, we will offer one instance or maybe 2 or 3, whatever, of the as basically opportunity to test the platform. Yeah? Even if you haven't been a procurer yourself, that you will be able to use the platform live and to gain insight on it. We do this A, to improve the results, and B, to prepare the suppliers better to then, when they launch after the project, they have more customers ready. I think it is a win-win. And clearly, at least subscribe to the newsletter to be posted. Better still, the social media if you want intermediate stuff. About the critical information, you will be informed if you're registered as preferred partner on the matchmaking platform, such as tender has been launched. Yeah, so that you don't miss out and lose time on that. And that would be it from my side. There's a question. Perfect.
Yes. Thank you very much, George. We have a question here from Sven Olof, and he asked, what is the special merits with the PCP approach related to the traditional needs market analysis and dialogues with potential suppliers already used in a daily procurement work?
Okay, the thing is, we might have different understanding of traditional, yeah, and that's the thing. That's my struggle here. And look, in the majority of EU, there is no exchange with the market at all. Yeah, that we do it in open market consultation is already more than is usually done. But what you cannot expect is that we basically will go through a version of the challenge brief together and then think about what the challenge brief should be like. This is so because we are R&D. Yeah, we are not procuring, I don't know, hospital beds where you can kind of talk of what is possible or not, and it kind of just changes the shape of the bed or something like that, and makes sure that the criteria are not so that someone can't respond. We are designing something entirely new, and by designing something, by asking for something entirely new, we cannot be influenced by someone who maybe has thought about it already, because we would limit ourselves. Yeah? We would then we would not open it up like in a normal exchange. In the contrary, we would target ourselves on one supplier, and we will not do that. So What we will do is share an updated pitch deck in the coming weeks, where we describe a little bit more about what we will expect, and some more background from our research. But the challenge brief will be published, and obviously you will be then able to ask questions about it, but we will not co-design the challenge brief.
Thanks. I could just add in Swedish, precis som George nämnde innan här, att det här är ju det här forskning och utvecklingstjänster undantaget i LOU. Så om ni tittar i LOU så ryms det den här processen, alltså för kommersiell upphandling, i det forskning och utvecklingsundantaget. Och det är alltså att vi upphandlar något som inte finns, som utvecklas. Och några fördelar är just som vi såg i tidigare bilder, att man kan ha anta flera leverantörer som kan arbeta med prototyper och utvecklingsförslag, och att man får betalt under utvecklingsfasen. Och vi har också ansökt då till EU och fått den här, de här faktiskt rätt så stora beloppen utifrån att vi ska göra en sån här förkommersiell upphandling, en PCP.
I just see Fredrik writing. I think you can also speak up. I haven't said it before. I didn't say who are the horizontal partners. We are supported by RISE in this project. Yeah, RISE, RISE is together with us helping the procurers to write the challenge brief, and they are extremely influential due to their expertise in obviously thinking. It's really one of the few institutions in Europe who thinks about circularity in a horizontal way. What I said before about silos, yeah, someone thinks about a food solution and someone thinks about construction. There's hardly anyone who thinks like that, and RISE is an exception. So Fredrik, please, if you want to clarify something I said in the Swedish context, not in the best way.
Thank you for the kind words. I was just thinking that maybe you should mention what we learned yesterday. Yes, about the AI. I mean, there is a lot of talk today about the dangers of AI and how we need to control AI, and how you already did the work to support the solution provider in how to follow the AI Act. And that will make it easier for them to know when they are in the right. Maybe you could mention that document.
Thank you very much. Yes, that's a valid point. It just was finalized this week, so we never considered it for the OMC, but it's absolutely right. Okay, so you are aware the AI Act is coming. There's a proposal. It will be discussed in the Council, in the Parliament, and ultimately it will be released, and then it's automatically valid and true and law in all member states, because it is a regulation, not a directive. The AI Act, we basically will prepare you for being compliant with the AI Act. Yeah, we cannot do all the works for you, but we will be preparing you to do so in two ways. First, some bits of the technical offer you will have to provide will basically fulfill the obligations you will commit or will have to commit in the framework agreement. So the framework agreement will regulate the procedure of the instrument of our contractual relationship. Yeah, that's all this stuff. Yeah, the normal things, including payments. But it also will contain a section then on AI Act, which includes statements on transparency, on human autonomy, and so on. But we will, aside from the legal terms, legal phrasing, the contractual clauses, not legal contractual clauses, in the framework agreement, which will be available to you with the request for tender, we will also guide you in the technical offer to basically make sure that you have it provided, to the degree we understand is necessary, because we want to understand it as well. Yeah, basically we want to understand. I mean, look, for us, AI is not new. Yeah, Empirica, we've been on it for some years, so some things we generally want to understand. Yeah? How did you train your model? How do you make it transparent for users on that you're using AI? it just needs to be implemented. Yeah? It is nothing magic. It just needs to be taken care of and done. And we will help you in how to do that.
So, thank you for that clarification. I will now continue to present Salar. Jag tror att de flesta av er känner till det, men en liten kort presentation om Sveriges kommuner och regioner. Vi är en medlems- och arbetsgivarorganisation. Ibland hör man i media att vi är en myndighet, men det är vi alltså inte. Men alla Sveriges 290 kommuner och 21 regioner är medlemmar. Och i Sverige så upphandlas det för drygt 800 miljarder kronor årligen. Och 8 av 10 upphandlingar görs av kommuner. 69% av kommuner då och 11% av regioner. Och vi har SKR äger då har ett dotterbolag som är Adda inköpscentral som tecknar nationella ramavtal för våra medlemmar. Så här har vi en möjlighet att få spridning, och bland annat inom möbler så har man gjort ett avtal som har olika cirkulära tjänster. Både renovering av möbler. Man har också en så kallad blockertjänst där man kan registrera inom kommunen eller flera kommuner sina möbler för att kunna återbruka. Så vi ser mer och mer av cirkulära lösningar i ramavtalen. Lite hur målbilden ser ut och vilka dokument man arbetar efter. Vi har ju som alla städer så har vi ju FNs 17 mål, och vi tittar ju främst på 12, men det här med cirkulärt påverkar ett flertal av de här målen. Vi har också UN guidelines, vi har Paris COP21-avtalet. Därutöver så har vi den svenska nationella upphandlingsstrategin. Jag tror Sverige var första landet i EU att faktiskt fatta beslut om det här. Och Sveriges miljömål. Därutöver, om vi tänker oss den här IT-plattformen som både ska beakta det här, så har ju varje kommun sina egna miljömål som ska med i arbetsprocessen på något sätt. Vi har jobbat länge, och framförallt Adda, vår inköpscentral, har jobbat väldigt länge med att ställa olika miljömål. Och jag skulle säga att det är inte korrekt att säga att det är lätt, men i jämförelse så berör det upphandling mer. Medan när vi pratar cirkularitet så berör det hela organisationen, och vi måste jobba tvärfunktionellt och vi måste ändra våra beteenden, och kanske till och med handlar om att inte upphandla. Jag kan ta ett exempel från Region Stockholm när vi ville fasa ut PVC i undersökningshandskar. Och alla handskar tillverkades i Asien, och alla vi talade med sa att det var omöjligt för att de innehåller mjukgörare eller det behövs mjukgörare för plasten som innehåller de här eftalaterna, och de innehåller PVC. Och det är fullkomligt omöjligt att göra det utan. Men sen valde vi i den processen att gå in med ett obligatoriskt skapkrav i en vanlig upphandling. Och helt plötsligt, det fanns ungefär 4 leverantörer på marknaden, så kunde en leverera. Priset gick upp från 21 öre till 90 öre. Men det som hände var att det här var en sån fördel för det här bolaget. Så de kunde gå från en region till alla regioner, till alla nordiska regioner, till flera europeiska länder och även ut på världsmarknaden. Vilket gjorde att nästa gång, 4 år senare vi upphandlade, så hade alla 4 leverantörer den här lösningen. Och vi var tillbaka på 20 öre. Så här ser vi fördelen med att skala upp. När vi kommer till cirkulär ekonomi och cirkulär upphandling, så har vi jobbat med research här, och här har vi fått tillstånd från Nederländerna att översätta deras modell. Och det visar ju att det är verkligen inte en fråga för upphandling, men upphandling måste vara med tillsammans med övriga. Och exempel kan vi titta på de här 5 målen, och här jobbar många, jag ska säga några exempel, här jobbar många kommuner idag med de här, och man kan ju inte ha alla mål i alla upphandlingar, utan man måste utifrån kontraktsföremål välja ett eller några mål, och sen under varje mål så ser vi strategier hur man kan realisera dem. Och då har vi det här: begränsa den totala materialåtgången, minska mängden jungfruliga råvaror, förlänga livslängden på produkter, maximera möjligheten för återanvändning av en produkt eller komponent och maximera möjligheten till återanvändning och återvinning av material. Om vi tittar på mitten på C här, att förlänga livslängden. Så i de här projekten när vi har jobbat för cirkulär upphandling i praktiken, så har frågor med garanti ofta väckts. Det handlar då om vid återbruk, hur ska man hantera det? Här ser ju vi, återigen, vi kommer säga vilka behov vi har, och vi har kontakt då med flera kommuner för att fånga upp behoven och har gjort de här focus groups report. Det här skulle vara ett behov att se, hur gör man i andra länder? Kan man få någon form av både erfarenhetsutbyte och kanske möjlighet att ensa garantier, för det är en viktig del. Avtal med underhåll och operationer. Jag nämnde ADDAS på möbler. Det här finns mer och mer. Många kommuner har kommit långt just inom möbler. Uppgraderingsbara produkter. Här ser vi ju IT. Där ser vi också att jag har hört från leverantörssidan att just offentliga köpare, det har varit en attitydförändring som behövs för att kunna använda återbrukade. Datorer har gått bättre, men framförallt mobiltelefoner. Många har känt att de har velat ha nya, men har förut inte velat ha återbrukade telefoner. Det har skett en ändring. Dels kanske en miljömedvetenhet. Sen är det också att man har tyckt det varit jobbigt att lära sig nya telefoner, så man vill gärna reparera de befintliga i det längsta. Det finns även en kommun som vill upphandla mobiltelefoner med en livslängd på 10 år. Och då kan jag också säga uppgraderingsbara är ju att man då kan uppgradera mjukvaran. Våra regioner sitter på en jättestor utmaning, och det är medicinteknisk utrustning som blir stående och inte används av olika skäl, för utvecklingen går framåt etc. Skulle man här kunna jobba med uppgraderingsbara och framförallt lära från Europa och se exempel från Europa, vore spännande. Och jag har hört och sett en utredning som har gjorts av regionerna, att man har tittat faktiskt på Tyskland som har mäklartjänster för det här, att kunna faktiskt kunna köpa och sälja medicinteknisk utrustning. Det som aktualiserats här i Sverige, det är vår lagstiftning med produktansvar och hur man får sätta på marknaden etc. Nu kommer jag in på anekdoter, jag ska gå tillbaka till strategierna. Design för ökad livslängd här. Exempel görs jättemycket inom vården. Då man tittar bland annat på läkarnas kläder, de här rockarna. Man tar bort fickor, man tar bort knappar, man förenklar, för att då de ska ju tvättas i 90 grader på grund av risk för smitta. Och då blir det väldigt hårt slitage vid tvättarna, men på det här sättet kan man förlänga tvätten. Man har också tittat på olika materialmixar, att gå till olika Lurocell-varianter, viskos olika, då kan man kanske dubblera antalet tvättar och då dubblera livslängden. Och det har också effekt på hur mycket energi man behöver för att torka de här. Möjlighet till underhåll och reparationer, nämnde parkbänkar, och det finns många fler exempel. Modulär förändringsanpassad design. Det byggs till och med på sjukhus, har vi hybridsalar som kan anpassas till olika behov. Vi har faktiskt ett ramavtal på förskolepaviljonger som kan användas då och ändras, storlek på och ändras för behov. Avtalade incitament för ökad livslängd. Och sen har vi vägledning från tillverkare för optimal användning. Ja. Det jag också ska säga som pågår, vi har några andra exempel. Inom bygg finns det många kommuner som har kommit. Vi har Malmö stad, det exempel har ni kanske hört, men det är hur man vid rivningsplatser återbrukar skyltar och även plåt för att göra skyltar. Och där har man gjort en väldigt lyckosam upphandling som visar på alla de här aspekterna. Och framför allt så har man haft med hela brukarcykeln. Ibland, George sa inledningsvis att vi kanske återvinner plast och tror att det är bra så. Men återvinning av material är ju längst ner på brukarcykeln, utan högst upp har vi det här. Jag vet att Uppsala brukar ställa frågan, behöver vi ens upphandla? Kan vi bruka det längre? Kan vi hitta en hyrlösning? Kan vi reparera etc. Så första frågan är att kanske inte upphandla. Och sen kommer vi till de här att stå så högt upp som möjligt i brukartrappan, för att då har vi en lägre klimatpåverkan. Att faktiskt underhålla och reparera då. Återanvända inom organisationen, som vi ser de här möbellösningarna. Återanvända utanför organisationen. Och där har vi också i bygg, och det görs, och det är fullt att hålla reda på allt och samla kunskaper på allt som hörs, men det görs. Men det finns ju exempel då man på rivningsplatser faktiskt har olika blocketlösningar. Då man kan se, nu har vi 20 fönster av den här modellen. Problemet är om man till en byggnad då kanske behöver 200 fönster, hur man kan hantera det. Men också de olika ingående momenten och deras beståndsdelar, vad som finns. Återanvända utanför organisationen, renovera och återvinna delar. Och jag kan säga att här går lite hand i hand, även om den lösningen nu har i beredskapssektorn så har Livsmedelsverket tagit fram, och Svensk Vatten kommer drifta en blocket för reservdelar till VA-utrustningar. Många är ålderstigna, det kan vara svårt att få tag i reservdelar. Nu är det gjort i formen av en akutlösning, då förhoppningen är att alla kommuner och deras VA-bolag då går med, och att man då hittar någon som har den delen, och sen kommer man själv överens om köpesumma för den. Så det är samma idé. Men den är då i beredskapssyfte, men det får ett cirkulärt syfte också delvis. Hur ser det ut då när vi frågar våra medlemmar? Och den här gjordes för en tid sedan, så att det skulle vara intressant att göra igen och se om vi har rört oss lite. Men det vi frågade, och då var det främst inköpschefer eller hållbarhetsstrateger som svarade. Och då frågade vi, arbetar hela eller delar av organisationen idag med cirkulär ekonomi? Och då var det bara 40% som sa ja. Och så ser ni där att det var nej eller vet ej på övriga. Har er organisation någon strategiskt mål och att återvinning ska väljas i första hand innan nyanskaffning? Och då var det, nu ska vi se bara 26% som sa ja, merparten nej och några vet ej. Och sen har vi frågat vilket stöd behöver er organisation, och då frågade vi då främst från SKR och vår inköpscentral som nu har bytt namn till ADDA. Och då vill man ha utbildning inom cirkulär ekonomi, och det erbjuder vi både för politiker och tjänstepersoner. Och erfarenhetsutbyte var det man mest av allt ville ha. Strategiskt olika stöd. Jag ska se om jag kan göra den större. Var mindre behov av. Men det vi tar fasta på är att man efterlyser erfarenhetsutbyte. Det vi också kan se är, jag kan sluta dela. I de olika projekten där vi jobbar med kommunerna är just svårigheten när vi ställer krav att hitta, dels är det en fördel att samordna köpkraften så att det finns fler pengar för omställningen genom att ställa lika krav, inte då bara inom Sverige utan inom EU. Men också mätmetoder. Hur ska vi mäta och vad ska vi ha för bevis? En så enkel sak som att vi ser att det är väldigt många upphandlingar ställs krav på återvunnen plast. Vi kan inte idag se, vi kan inte titta på plasten, skicka den till ett labb och se är den återvunnen eller inte som vi kan med PVC. Utan då får vi förlita oss på olika saker som certifikat eller kvitton från återvinningscentraler, vilket är inte tillfredsställande. Vi gjorde i regeringens delegation för cirkulär ekonomi, så expertgrupp upphandling, tog fram ett förslag att man skulle ha ett likartat nationellt kvotsystem som för el, att man faktiskt då ska kunna se vad som är återvunnet. Så det är några önskemål som har lyfts från upphandlarsidan, men som sagt var, det här är över hela, det är från ledningen, från beslutsfattare att man kommer ha olika behov och sen är det upp till marknaden att se vilka svar vi får. Och med det så vill jag lämna över till Hanna.
Tack så mycket Karin och thank you very much George. I don't know very much about circular economy, so I've been listening quite intensely to learn. It's been a great morning. Let's see, then I will take control of the pictures. Jo, jag ska ju prata om... Does it look okay for you now?
Yes, it looks perfect.
Ja. Jag är inbjuden av dig Karin att vi liksom pratar om den andra sidan av det här. Nu har du pratat om hur våra medlemmar, SKRs medlemmar, tänker kring cirkulär ekonomi och cirkularitet. Nu ska jag prata lite om vad står då kommuner och regioner vad det gäller digitalisering. För det är ju en joint grej det här. George har pratat om det här IT-stödet eller plattformen som byggs från AI och som då i något gränssnitt visar ut och hjälper kommuner och regioner och städer i hela Europa att jobba med den här frågan. Men hur står sig digitaliseringen i kommuner och regioner i Sverige? Alltså hur ligger landet hos de som i så fall blir kunder till det här som ska byggas upp? Och jag skulle vilja börja i de behov som vi hela tiden pratar om, varför vi måste gasa något enormt mycket mer i att använda teknikens hjälp för att förändra, att ställa om, inte bara skruva i det lilla utan att faktiskt jobba ganska radikalt annorlunda i kommuner och regioner. Och det är inte helt väsensskilt från de samhällsförändringar som också kräver att vi går mot en mer cirkulär ekonomi, om vi säger så, i alla fall i vissa delar. Det vi mest pratar om från SKR just nu, det är den skriande kompetensbristen i vård, skola och omsorg, om vi säger så. Sen finns det ju en kompetensbrist inom just digitaliseringsområdet också, men det känner säkert ni som leverantörer också. Om vi börjar uppe i det vänstra hörnet så är det en bild på hur befolkningen i de olika åldersgrupperna ökar nu från 2021 till 2031. Och den arbetsföra befolkningen den ökar med 4% medan 80 plus äldre som vi brukar kalla, de ökar med 47%. Och ska vi fortsätta utföra äldreomsorg precis som idag så finns det helt enkelt inte människor som räcker till. Det spelar liksom ingen roll att vi vill anställa många fler. Det finns inte händer och fötter. Vi skulle behöva, idag är det ungefär 25% av arbetsmarknaden som arbetar inom offentlig sektor. Och vi skulle för att kunna fortsätta jobba precis som idag då vid 2031 behöva få in alla nya som kommer ut på arbetsmarknaden. Eller vi skulle behöva ha 54% av arbetsmarknaden för att klara det vi gör idag. Och då är stor del av det äldreomsorg. Vi vet också att vi går mot lite knaprare tider där det är ett helt annat läge för kommuner och regioner den närmsta tiden och då kan verksamhetsutveckling med stöd av teknik verkligen hjälpa att hitta helt andra lösningar. Som även cirkulär ekonomi kan hjälpa till att hitta besparingar så. Den bilden nere i vänstra hörnet, den visar en undersökning. Vad tycker invånare i Sverige om service från kommuner och regioner, den digitala servicen? Det är bara Det är 7 av 10 tycker inte att den lever upp till deras förväntningar. Och det vet vi ju alla att förväntningarna ökar vartefter. Och sen så har vi inte minst den miljö- och klimatkris vi har och behovet av grön omställning. Och de här 4 delarna brukar vi på lite olika sätt paketera för behovet av att arbeta mer digitalt. Digitalisering bara superkort, då pratar vi om just verksamhetsutveckling, att inte bara införa ännu ett system eller ännu en lösning, utan att faktiskt arbeta på ett annat sätt, förändra våra beteenden och uppnå någonting som behöver nyttiggöras så att säga. Och det är faktiskt, som jag tolkar det, precis syftet med det här projektet också. Inte bara att vi ska bygga en avancerad teknisk plattform, utan vi vill att gemene medarbetare i de olika städerna ska kunna arbeta på ett cirkulärt sätt. Men hur ser det ut då? Och nu kommer kanske inte liksom världens mest positiva bild här, för Sverige halkar efter i digitaliseringsindex och sådana saker. Vi ligger inte alls bra till i ett världs-AI-index jag såg här om dagen och så vidare. Och vi var tidiga med digitaliseringen och det var väldigt bra, men det kanske till och med är så att det nu gör att vi inte riktigt kommer vidare. Vi börjar titta lite på det här. Jag brukar prata om en teknikparadox. Vi har enormt moderna verktyg, superavancerad teknik inom viss vård till exempel. Men vi kan fortfarande inte som förälder lämna in våra adressuppgifter en gång när barnet börjar skolan, utan vi sitter varje höst och skriver upp samma adresser och telefonnummer och grejer och så vidare. Så att det liksom, vi står i 2 världar på något sätt så. Det sker jättemycket positivt, men det skalas inte upp. Det blir testballonger, supersmarta innovationer, men det sprids inte på bredden. Vilket är ju någonting intressant att ta med sig även i det här projektet, tänker jag. Som jag sa, vi var tidiga att digitalisera, men nu har vi byggt in oss i något som vi brukar kalla en teknisk skuld eller digitalt arv. Vi har inte så bra digitalt arv. Det är inte ovanligt att en kommun eller region har 800-900 minst olika systemlösningar som inte pratar med varandra på det sätt vi vill, som inte är där vi äger datan själva i kommunen och regionen på det sätt vi vill och så vidare. Så att det är liksom ett lapptäcke som behövs rensas upp i. Vi saknar nationell digital infrastruktur, även om det är många bra initiativ på gång. Men på regionsidan finns det. För hälso- och sjukvården är det uppbyggt, inte minst för att regionen har gått samman i Nera, ett av våra andra dotterbolag. Karin har ju pratat om Adda, men vi har också i Nera. Och man har liksom löst ut det här tillsammans. På kommunsidan ser det annorlunda ut. Vi har inte en vana vid att investera och investera i teknik och framförallt inte utvecklingsdelar av teknik. Så. Och jag skulle bara vilja visa ett exempel på det här. Här ser ni staplar där hur mycket olika branscher ligger i IT-kostnader och då hela balutten, utveckling, drift, förvaltning. Där då regioner ligger på 2,9 och kommuner på 2,3. Och om man jämför det med andra branscher så är det en ganska stor skillnad. Och av det här så lägger kommunsektorn bara 10%. Alltså det förra var av den totala budgetomsättningen så lägger man 2,9 eller 2,5. Och av dem i sin tur så är det bara 10% på utveckling och innovation. Och det här behöver vi alla parter i samhället hjälpas åt och jobba med. Och det vill kommunerna och regionerna också jobba med om vi ska kunna uppnå den här vinsterna med digitalisering. Kommunerna ropar lite på hjälp. Vi klarar inte det här var och en. Självklart är vi alla för kommunalt självstyre. Men vad kan vi lösa tillsammans? Staten uppfattas av våra medlemmar, inte peka ut en riktning om vart vi vill i digitaliseringen. Vad kommer hända då? Vad blir sen och vad blir sen? Vi får oss ganska mycket kritik också, vi då tillsammans med Adda och Inera som ju är en trojka i digitaliseringsarbetet. Att vi inte är relevanta, vi befinner oss på fel nivå, vi måste jobba mycket mer hands-on tillsammans. De som jobbar där ute har svårt att få politisk acceptans för frågorna. IT ses fortfarande, eller digitalisering ses fortfarande som en IT-fråga som någon nere på IT-avdelningen ska lösa, inte någonting som berör hela organisationen och verkligen måste bygga på behov i verksamheterna. Lite det som egentligen Karin var inne på med cirkulär ekonomi också. Det är inte något som någon ekonom ska sitta och tänka någonstans eller så, utan det måste komma, det måste växa underifrån. Man har också svårt att hitta kompetens och man är väldigt frustrerad över det här att man inte faktiskt äger sin data själv i vissa avseenden. Så då, ja just det, jag ska ta en bild till. Det här är sammanfattningar från en massa med olika kontakter med våra kommuner och det ska sägas att det här är inte bara de som arbetar med IT och digitalisering, utan det här är genom dialoger mellan vår vd och kommundirektörer. Vad vill man ha då? Jo, man önskar att vi går samman och jobbar gemensamt med alltså gemensamma lösningar, gemensam upphandlingskraft, gemensam marknadsdialog. Att vi tillsammans med er på marknaden kan hitta vägar framåt. Att vi jobbar tillsammans med standardiseringar, att vi hjälps åt att tolka sådana saker som informationssäkerhet, cybersäkerhet och så vidare. Att vi har inte en chans att ha juridisk kompetens i alla kommuner och regioner, så hur kan vi arbeta med tillsammans med det? Och sen också att vi går samman och pekar ut en riktning. Så det var liksom så här för något år sedan att nej men nu fasiken, ursäkta språket, nu måste vi göra någonting. Och då har vi inspirerats av Danmark, för i Danmark så jag ska backa det och säga att Danmarks förvaltningsmodell i samhället är inte helt olik våran, så att det finns ändå paralleller man kan dra med också 3 nivåer, kommuner med starkt självstyre och så vidare så. Men där är de helt sampratade. Regeringens digitaliseringsstrategi, regeringens gemensamma strategi med regioner och kommuner pratar samma språk. Utifrån det har kommunerna själva gått samman och tagit fram sitt inriktningsdokument, digitala svar på samhällets utmaningar, och man har också byggt upp något man kallar kombit, där man har gått samman för att faktiskt tillsammans upphandla lösningar, tillsammans bygga vissa infrastrukturella komponenter och så vidare och så vidare. Jag tror jag hoppar över det där. Och utifrån det så har SKR och då i den här trojkan med Adda och Inera, vi satsar stenhårt nu på, det är en av 3 prioriterade uppdrag under den kommande SKR-mandatperioden på 3 utvecklingsområden inom digitalisering. Dels att få till ett handslag med staten med en inriktning, vad som är på gång, med några konkreta grejer där vi till exempel driver frågan om statlig e-legitimation stenhårt. Med att SKR-koncernen behöver bli mycket, mycket mer relevant i det här sammanhanget, och med en kommungemensam strategisk agenda för digitalisering. Den börjar ta form och kommer att beslutas politiskt på SKR under hösten här, och vi håller nu på med en handlingsplan. Och det här är mycket, mycket fluffigare än det vi har pratat om tidigare här idag, men vi vill ändå ge en bild av hur liksom läget är i kommuner, och att det finns liksom ett fönster nu när vi verkligen ser kraft bland våra medlemmar, att vi vill gå ihop och fortsätta jobba med det här tillsammans. Och då skulle jag bara vilja som ett avslutande ord så är ju det här IT-stödet för kunskapsspridning om cirkulär ekonomi som det här projektet handlar om. Det är liksom lite drömmigt projekt utifrån det här flufferiet jag pratade om vad vi är på väg och vad vi vill kunna åstadkomma just i dialog mellan städer, marknaden, akademin och så vidare. Att det är mitt i prick att just pinpointa de frågor om datadelning, databeredskap, sammanförning, AI och så vidare och så vidare och så vidare som är ambitionen att vi börjar successivt ta oss igenom i den här kommungemensamma agendan. Jag tror jag stannar där, Karin.
Stort tack för insikter i vad som händer i vårt land inom den här frågan.